Alright guys, what's going on? Mouse here. So 36.4 score in the guild boss. This is the highest that I've achieved so far. I haven't played much yet because the past few weeks has been very busy. I had to focus on preparing the Discord server as well as reorganizing my guild because my previous guild just disbanded. And I missed my chance for 37 billion because of my skill issues. But anyway, in this video, I'm gonna share you guys my run, some of the new tactics that I'm using, and some tips to improve your score, get more consistent damage. And I'm gonna share you the entire builds as well, like every stat, every single stat, you're gonna see it here. So this is definitely not the highest score that I will be able to achieve, but I'm gonna stop tryharding this specific lineup because I want to focus more on checking other possibilities and getting more information about this guild boss, that find some of the things that we can still take advantage of to get better scores. And before we begin, just want to thank you guys for all the support. We now have 475 supporters. We are ranked number 7. We're almost 500. So just in case your support is still free, feel free to support me here in the SLA Content Creator Program. Thank you so much again to all our top supporters: Mr. Bombastic, Clapbits, TTV, King Kong, Usopar, NID 4610180, Thievdokja, Devilar, NID 9422017, Master Mix, Baconator. Just in case, by the way guys, just in case you're still not in my Discord server, it's now open. I'm looking forward to meet all of you guys there. The link will be in the description. And we still have lots of available codes here, so just in case you don't have them yet, feel free to support. I send them every day, a few times every day, and we still have 2 codes coming soon. Or if you got bugged for some reason because there are some kind of region lock or something, join my Discord server and message me there, and I'm going to try to give you codes manually. Alright, so let's talk about the replay, and I'm gonna share you guys some of the tips and tactics that I'm using right now. Usually start with Grim and then into the Shadow Step with the Vacuum Wave, and then into a Moon Shadow plus Magnifying Slashes straight into the Thunder QTE plus the Overshadow QTE. And then I'm gonna get another Shadow Step there, cast the Grim first before tapping that Shadow Step to cancel the Grim, and then Vacuum Wave, cancel, Moon Shadow, and then another Magnifying Slashes. And here I'm just gonna press the Grim to deal a bit more damage before it goes down. So the first phase is quite easy. You just have to assess properly and try to balance the distribution of power among these mobs. Use your skills, use the Vacuum Wave into the Thunderstorm to clear them quickly, and you have to go near the boss so that you can proc that skill pattern instead of it jumping around. Vacuum Wave. My Vacuum Wave is actually kind of late there. I should have been able to do a Vacuum Wave before that, but it's still on cooldown because I cleared the mobs faster than I usually do. But that's okay. So here's the first trick that I'm doing now. During the break gauge, I pause the game, switch off the auto ultimate so that Kanae will not waste her skills, because if you turn it off, she's not gonna be able to use her second skill. Alright, I'm not sure if they're gonna fix this soon, but this is what I do. And the reason why I'm doing this is because during the break phase, the boss will only receive 1 damage per hit. So you can see here at the upper left, the score is not moving fast. And you don't want them, especially Kanae, to use her skills during this phase. So that's kind of still an RNG, but that would still improve your chances of getting better scores if she will not waste her skills on this. She will not waste her MP, she will not waste her skill cast as well. So let's go back here, and then there you go. After breaking, I'm gonna switch it back again, and then I'm gonna do my combo. There is an exception to this though. If she's casting her ultimate while the break phase is on, you don't have to pause because she's not doing anything anyway, and she's still casting that ultimate. So again, this is still RNG depending on your timing and depending on your run, but at least you might be able to get a bit more score out of that in most of your runs. Alright, so we will just proceed here with the usual combination. Moon Shadow and Cream. So don't use Shadow Step anymore so that it will burrow down faster. So the most crucial thing here in the Ant Queen if you want to get really higher scores is how fast you can actually kill those mobs, because like 3 seconds or 5 seconds extra time going on to the third phase can already add billions of damage if you get an extra Moon Shadows or Shadow Step out of that, with all those Isil stacks, with all those debuff that the boss is getting, because it's gonna have this debuff. You can see here 10 stacks. According to BRR, this is around 5% increased damage taken per stack, so that is pretty huge. So that's why majority of the damage is coming from that last phase, and you have to go to that phase as fast as you can. So here we have 12.2 billion damage. Look at what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pause it again, and I try to evaluate where the hunters are going, find the weakest spots, and I'm gonna use Jinwoo there. So look at what's happening here. All of them went to the other side. Well, it's not the most ideal, but it's the most consistent. If they went to one side, and Jinwoo can go to one side to clear the ants. Look at this. I had to pause it a couple of times to assess that. Using that pause button that way will help you get better decisions during the run. So I have assessed that, okay, so this spot doesn't have any hunters, and this is very good because Jinwoo can kill all of these with AoE. So I used Vacuum Wave here, get them closer together, use Moon Shadow, but Choi is a fucking idiot. He pushed them, but that's okay. Use Magnifying Slashes. I'm gonna use every skill that I have here, because again, the priority is to get into phase 3 as fast as you can. So I was able to clear the mobs at around 1 minute 12 seconds mark. So if you're clearing these mobs like below 1 minute 1:05, that is already enough to make that difference between the runs. Because if I clear this at around 1:05, my run will usually be at around 33 billion. If below that, like 31, something like that. So if I fail the mobs phase and I'm trying to get the highest score, I usually just restart, because I know that most of the time the scores will be relatively lower. So same process, you have to be near it and proc the skill patterns instead of it jumping, because not only that it's gonna waste a lot of time, it's gonna kill some of your hunters if it does that, like jumping AoE. Okay, so we are now at 14 billion at 1 minute mark. Just the usual combination here. I shouldn't have used that, but so here again at the break phase, I should have paused it again here, but I probably got nervous. That's why, because I know this is gonna be a good run. If you clear those mobs at around 110 mark, that's gonna be a very good run. If you clear that 105, decent. If you clear it below 1 minute, then just restart. If you lose 10 seconds from that, like 15 seconds from that, you're gonna lose 1 or 2 Shadow Steps and Moon Shadows, and that is already a huge damage output, especially at this point wherein the boss will already have 20 stacks of that increased damage taken. So now we broke it. We have 95 stacks of Isil. So just the usual combination here, and there you go. 20 billion at around 42 seconds something. And then I missed another Shadow Step there, I think, which I shouldn't have. I have lots of skill issues here. Alright, so there. So this mechanic will usually happen towards the end. So if you let the boss jump at phase 1 and phase 2, probably your Chow will die in this part. Anyway, moving on. Just doing the combo. Really good. So here, look at this. We have 11 seconds remaining. And we have like 32.7 billion here in damage. If I kill the mobs at around 1 minute mark and not 1:11 or 1:12, this will probably be my score. But since we got that extra 10 seconds and fucking missed a lot of this, I'm not sure if being able to get that Shadow Step will get me to 37 billion. But just look at this extra time that we got. That 10 seconds from 32 something billion up to 36 plus billion damage. So that is how crucial it is to clear those phase 2 mobs quickly and not to let the boss jump by going near it and proccing the other attack patterns instead. And if you can still manage to pause and try to get a bit more damage and not waste the skill cast of Kanae from there, then that will be a very, very good run. So I think in my case, I would be able to get 37 plus 37.5 if I tried to, but I want to spend more time in checking other strats and checking other lineups possibilities here. I'm gonna spend more time checking the fan and the bow as well here in this guild boss, so I'll probably stop tryharding this lineup for now. Now for the builds and the artifact setup, so this is my Jinwoo now, almost 41k attack. So crit rate should be, I think 8k would be enough or something, but we're not sure yet because we don't have data yet on the crit rates adjustment depending on the target's level, especially on a level 80 monster. So again, guild boss is shown as level 90, but it's actually level 80. So we tested that using crit damage because we already have an accurate formula on how crit damage is affected by target's level, and it matches the level 80 profile. So it's still the same as the previous guild boss wherein it's 10 levels lower. So that's what we believe, at least right now. You don't need defense penetration here anymore, and the reason is, firstly, the boss defense is very low right now. It's around 60%, and we did not see it change from Rage 0 to at least Rage 3, unlike the previous guild boss wherein it becomes more tanky as the rage goes up, but this time around it is consistent. Not only that, it is a lot less tanky by default because the previous guild boss is around 75% effective defense, POD is 75% effective defense, but this guild boss is only 60%. So penetration is not anymore as important here. We want to focus only on damage increase, main stat crit damage, as well as getting enough critical hit rate. Before, the effectiveness of defense decrease as the rage goes up in the previous guild boss is becoming less and less, and the defense is also increasing. That's why choice weapon, even if you apply lots of defense down or defense decrease, it's not that impactful. But this guild boss again is different. The defense is assumed to be constant. There's no reason to believe that it is becoming more tanky. In fact, it is becoming a lot softer. And so just think of it like this. This guild boss is similar to POD. You use Choi, you're gonna get OP damage. Okay? And it's quite similar to BOT as well. You have to clear those mobs faster if you want to get better scores. So this is my Sung Jinwoo stats. Since we believe it to be a level 80 monster, like the real level, we only use 18,700 precision to get that 99%. So you can use BRR's formulary there. Alright, so stats allocation added a bit of perception because my gems right now is more focused on critical hit damage and precision. I already removed my defense penetration gems because we don't need it anymore. So ideally, I just wanted to use precision gems enough for my hunters to get that enough precision, but right now I'm at 20k on an A5 weapon on hunters, so I think that's fine. That's small thing because precision is going to be used on most game contents anyway. But if you want to like really optimize for guild boss, I would recommend just going enough, and then you can add more like damage things here, crit damage, although it's not gonna add like significant amount. It's still gonna add a bit of damage if you want to really get the highest damage output that you can get. But if you do that, then you're gonna have to sacrifice a bit more on Jinwoo if you want Jinwoo to stay at 99% precision. So int is 350 and then the rest is just strength. Skills, of course, vacuum wave and magnifying slashes, although we're still investigating this whether or not it's still gonna be as effective with lots of increased damage taken debuff on the target, assuming if that is the same debuff. So there are a lot of things to test here. That's why I'm not going to try hard this specific lineup anymore. That's not what we're here to do. We want to like keep on searching for things to improve on. Anyway, for Blessing Stones, here's what we have. Bloodlust, Sharp Perception, VR1, and then Reawakening, and then we still have this one for that shield generation. And then for the artifacts, Curse and Expert Steel. So here, your priority, of course, again, you don't need the precision here anymore. Not as important anymore because we are already applying a lot of Death Down. And for Jinwoo's course, I'm just using this and had to borrow this from my previous Suyon build. And then this one, yeah, I don't have a good stat yet on the purple one. So I think the purple one is gonna be a lot better. So attack versus attack percent depends. High int, you can still use attack. Into it, you can use attack percent. And high strength, you can use attack percent. So this is highly situational still at this point. Let me just show you just to give some idea. So this is level 10 attack percent, right? 36.79. My attack is 39,204. If I change this to a same level, level 10, with max attack, maybe let's just try this one. There you go. Still higher by a bit because my strength is still not enough. But long term, of course, attack percent is what you want. So anyway, let's move on to the hunters. This is Gina, 34.7k attack, critical hit rate 10k, critical hit damage 200%, defense penetration and damage increase there, and fire damage. So skill levels, using Guardian plus Sylph, and then here are the cores that I'm using. And there you go. So as you can see, these are just my old cores on other units. That's okay, as long as you can balance your stats properly. Less defense penetration, enough crit rate, crit damage, and damage increase focus, and the main stats. Now let's go to Isil. Limit break 110 weapon. A critical hit rate 11k, 193% crit damage, less death pen, more damage increase, and then fire damage. Skills, let's go, and then 8-piece grid plus the course. So the reason why I'm using low level course here is that I'm trying to control the total power because we want to give the Angel in White from Hansemi to Kanae. So in order to do that, you can either use course like this with percent main stat because this will give lower total power. So here I did not use percentage because I didn't have that. For now, I stopped upgrading it, got max critical hit damage because this will just give me more total power and might steal the Angel in White benefit. And another thing that you can do is to use lower total power artifacts, but of course that will already depend on what you have. For example, here you can use defense percent main stat here. That's okay. So you just have to manipulate your total power. I recommend just changing up your course. This is the easiest way to do that. And even if you sacrifice some stat from these units, the benefit on Kanae will still be much higher, even if you lose 1% or 2% damage increase from here. So now let's go to Kanae. 317k total power, 39k attack, crit rate 11.2k. These stats can potentially go 16 billion plus, but again, I'm not going to be focusing on getting high scores. I'm going to be focusing more on discovering potential lineups that we can still use and studying that guild boss and get more information on how to take advantage of the mechanics and all those stuff in the guild boss. But anyway, for now, Kanae, you can see my MP 1700 only, crit damage, damage increase, and MP consumption reduction at 2473 only. So I can say definitely, as long as you can sustain it with Hansemi's skill, because sometimes Hansemi goes elsewhere during the mob's phase and she will cast this skill and then she will not be able to regen the MP of the other teammates. So there are occasions wherein even Thomas Andre or Gunhi or even Libora or Choi is gonna lose some MP if that happens. So that's still kind of the RNG part here, but the highest score I reached on Kanae, individual damage, was 15.8 in that lineup working. But the crucial part here is that you have to get this score because this will help Kanae a lot in terms of sustaining that MP. And then the course, this is still the best except if they nerf it because this is bugged. I do have a video on this already. This thing works once you cast your ultimate. Kanae will cast her second skill, which is an ultimate skill. All damage, all critical damage of every types of attack will increase, not just the basic skill. Okay, so this score is bugged. We're not sure if they're gonna fix it. Same thing here. Every time you cast your second skill, it will grant that shield, of course. So you pretty much will have perma activation on your Guardian set if you use this. For the artifacts, this is the problem, the total power problem, because you're gonna use 2-piece one-hit kill and 2-piece curse. Okay, and then expert set. So controlling your total power is gonna be a bit more difficult, especially if you already have like max level cores on your other units. But that's how it is, because this thing right here, really high damage output. Not additive, but multiplicative to her skill damage bonus here. That's why it's very, very strong. That's why this is the ideal setup that we are still gonna be using here. Right, so here are my artifacts. Skill levels almost maxed out. And yeah, that's it for Kanae. Let's just go over the light team real quick. Gogunhee, 36k defense. Again, damage increase, less defense penetration, crit damage enough, crit rate over crit, light damage, skill levels, 8-piece greed, and then cores. I did level 15 a wind core because I don't want to level 15 a light core, which he probably won't need, or even if he needs that, it's not gonna have major impact. So what I did instead is to prepare for the future, which is gonna be the wind meta. If Goto Ryuji is gonna be wind, so I just did this because I need that additional defense. But for the cores, to have less total power, I'll get these percent main stat on the hunters. And here, this is just my extra, not the ideal one, but since we still have less total power, that is okay. But once I limit break this, I have to change that as well with HP percent here, and probably less level. I'm not sure yet, but that's the idea. And for Thomas Andre, this is my stats: 40k defense and crit damage 190, damage increase. I still need less defense penetration, but I don't have choice anymore. Light damage, already 120 weapon, one of the priorities as well. Skill levels and artifacts, here you go. So if I need less total power on Thomas Andre, I do have an extra artifact here, for example, with a high defense as well, but less total power, because this is like an attack percent, so I can still use that to lessen his total power. Here's the core setup, level 15 here, and I'm using an HP percent Song Jinwoo core here. This was my old core at HP percent crit damage. If I change that to, for example, additional HP, that's gonna give me 6,900. That's how big the difference is gonna be. So that's why we use this percent main set. It's gonna be hard to adjust, but we don't have choice if we want to maximize the damage output. Alright, so next, Chahi in, already level 120 weapon as well, 36.7k attack, and then crit damage, damage increase. I have to increase her damage increase actually, but yeah. Skill levels, artifacts, and then for the cores, I'm using this just to get a bit more crit rate for enough over crit, and then this one, additional attack plus increased attack percent. My old setup on Cha lacked critical hit damage, so this was my core back then, but like ideally I should have damage increase here, I believe. So this one is very important as well to save more MP. So next, Hatsumi, here's the stats. Support stats only, here you go. Skill levels, max this for higher MP regen, and then Angel in White V reset, pretty standard. Then just added some MP consumption reduction here, and the reason is sometimes she casts her second skill somewhere else, and then because of the mobs she walks around, AoE is not on point, so even her sometimes loses MP because of that. MP consumption reduction at 4.3k, already a lot more than what we need. And then next, for Libora, this is one of my major problems right now. Stats are low attack, I need more attack on her. Defense penetration is also high because my accessories is defense penetration plus 3. So once I get one here with attack and attack percent, I think Libora's damage is gonna improve a lot. But since we don't have that one yet, we can only use this. There you go. Plus another level 15 core here. 10 here, and another 10 here. And for Choi Jong-in, problematic as well. Ideally, I don't want defense penetration here, I just want attack and damage increase, but that's okay. Skill levels, and then using 4-piece curse and 4-piece obsidian set for damage output. So the reason why I have high penetration is because my available cores like this one was Suyun's core back then, but since it's level 15 with 5.4k attack, it's still not too bad, but I have to change this if I want to get the highest score. But I don't know if I should invest more on that this point, because the Ant Queen might be a temporary guild boss. Yeah, just let me know if you still need some help and still need some advice here. Make sure to join my Discord server. You can ask me there anytime. We have lots of good players and experts there when it comes to guild boss and builds, so they can help you there as well. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one.